Welcome, crypto fam, to the #1 daily Bitcoin pod, and happy Sat Stacking Saturday. Make some noise in that live chat. We're going to do what we do every day, break down the latest Bitcoin TA, aka astrology for men, the latest from the former PayPal president regarding Lightning Network, saying every corporation in the world is going to be using it. We'll also be discussing the Bitcoin volatility, as well as a little comeback and eventually capturing this six-figure milestone we have been forecasting for a very long time now, as well as the latest from our Cuban advocating for the CFTC to regulate all crypto ahead of election day, as well as breaking news. JPMorgan Chase, the largest bank in the States, reports holding shares of several spot Bitcoin ETFs. Go figure, Jamie Dimon. Also, Jack Dorsey predicts Bitcoin to skyrocket to at least $1 million by this particular date. I'll be breaking down this report, as well as the latest from the Giga Chat himself, Mike Saylor. He says Bitcoin is the only crypto asset that will ever get the SEC approval for the ETFs. He also makes some very bullish price predictions. I'm going to be sharing his latest insights with the Bitcoin halving. All this, plus so much more, fam, in today's show. Now, welcome everyone to the #1 daily pod. As far as Bitcoin is concerned, you come to the right place. I appreciate y'all. A lot of familiar faces here. First and foremost, shout out to the mods. Jennifer, good to see ya. OG, Darth Melda in the building. OG McLovin. Shout out to the members. Ellen Todd, good to see you. Knox Bill, where you been, bro? It's been a minute. Good to see you. Dan, it's been a minute from you as well. This is earlier. He's live on Rumble right now, singing songs, dropping F and N bombs. No, I don't drop N bombs, bro. Where'd you get that from? Oh, maybe the audios I sample. You ain't telling no lies. Throw a little Kendrick in the mix. Yesterday's YouTube stream got demonetized. Go figure. So I got to be careful today. Oh, man, this is great. Welcome, Silas. How you doing, broski? We recovered some. We were tempting that 60,000 support yesterday, but it held. We're back above 61 for the day. Shout out K-Jam, Freddy Krueger. What's up, yo? Beach Guy Dave. What's poppin'? It feels good to be streaming at the normal time, 4 p.m. If you're just joining the stream, pump the likes. Helps pump the stream. Mooning Jaybird, what it do? And please retweet this over on X. I appreciate it. I always make a tweet right before I go live. You can find it. Much love in advance. Edward Williams, welcome. I got the kombucha out, the Dr. Brew, the Brew Doctor, the Island Mango. Got me feeling like, psst, I see dead people. I better watch myself. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Yeah, exactly. You're flirting with disaster yesterday. I know. What was I don't even remember what I was saying because I was just channeling. I lit the sage. Like, I don't even know what the heck the conversation was about. I'm sure it wasn't about crypto, but I lit the sage, like, no lie. And then I'm just like enjoying it, right? Smelling that beautiful scent. And all of a sudden, JV's in a different dimension. It feels like that. Maybe we'll light the sage later in the show, but I'm not going to do it early like last time. Lay off the sage. And just for clarity, I don't inhale sage. I'm just saying smelling it. This is obviously not a blunt, but it is sage for smudging and manifestations and cleansing energy, so we can bring in this six-figure Bitcoin price already. I got this sage on behalf of the Bitcoin network. Sometimes you got to light the sage, get the bad actors out. Goodbye, Bankman-Fried. I mean, peace. See you later, Caroline Ellison. Peace, Roger Veer. The fork was nice while it lasted, but goodbye, Craig Wright. Deuces. You know what I mean? So it's good. What up, Kevin? Where'd Nippinator go? It's hot in this room, I'm not going to lie. The office is hot. He probably ran to the other room where the AC is blasting right on his belly. We have an ottoman right in front of the sofa, and the AC hits that ottoman. That's like his ottoman, really. It's like a big bed for him, and that's where he chills. Is the sage a gateway herb? Sage is the gateway herb. You already know, guys. Welcome, Jerry. Good to see you, broski. Welcome, Jackie. Pump the likes, pump the stream. Let's get it lit up in here like the sage will be lit before the end of the show. And one thing's for sure, if you made it here to this channel live and in the flesh, May 11th at 4:10 p.m. Eastern, everyone who didn't make it,
they not like us. They not like us. They not like us.
And to all the Bitcoin haters, aka no coiners,
they not like us. They not like us. They not like us.
Yes, Jennifer, the Nippinator indicator is a coming, so hang on there. I'm sure he'll be back. Unprecedented time when you least expected and thought it was safe. Nipsey scratched you in the face. Oh man, I love it. But anyways, welcome everyone. It's good to see y'all. What we're gonna do is dive into our show, shall we? If you're new to the channel, very important to smash that subscribe button to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every day, 7 days a week, just like this. Also pump the like. It helps pump the stream and is always greatly appreciated. And it's free to help support the show. That's all you got to do. Now, today is pod episode number 1636. I'm your host, JV. It's May 11th, 2024, and I'm broadcasting to you live from our home office here in Puerto Rico. Let's kick it off with our market watch as we do each and every day. Thank God, 60 held strong as a support yesterday. Today we're back in the green, but very modestly, trading back above 61,200 at the time of this live stream. We have Ether up about 0.75%, maintaining just above 2,900, while Solana, Cardano, and AVAX are all correcting and in the red. And checking out coinmarketcap.com, let's check out the market. You can see we're sitting at 2.26 trillion as far as market cap, with 42 billion in volume for the past 24 hours. Bitcoin dominance 53.2%, and the Ether dominance, I believe this is the lowest it's been in years, 15.5%. Now, what are your thoughts? Do you think the ETH dominance will continue declining, or do you think it'll reverse and start going back up? I want to know your thoughts on the ETH dominance, but also Bitcoin dominance is sitting modestly also at 53.2%. So do you think that will likely climb for this bull run this year? Or do you think it'll drop and more market share will go to potentially Ethereum and the alts? Let me know your thoughts and theories. And checking out the top gainers for the past 24 hours, we got WorldCoin, Immutable, and Boom. Below that, we got Whiff, Ordi, and Stark. Wow, a lot of these meme coins, yo. Always going crazy. But anyways, the majority of the market is correcting in the red. Safe to say, yeah, as far as altcoins are concerned. And checking out the crypto bubbles on the daily. Oh, I take that back. According to this overall chart, it's pretty even, but I'd probably say 60% are actually in the green. And zooming out on the monthly, oh my God. Safe to say 90+% wrecked and in the red. And checking out the crypto greed and fear index, we're back down to neutral, 53. Yesterday, 66 in greed. Last week, 67, and last month is 76 in extreme greed. And typically, this is a pretty accurate indicator. The higher this number goes, the more likely of a pullback, and vice versa. The lower the number goes, the more likely of a pump. And with that being shared, welcome everyone just joining the stream. Ronan Crash, what it do? Happy stacking Saturday. They not like us, JV. That's 100% accurate. Dat sick. Just respect the genius in the name there. Dat sick. Hey guys, I don't hold Bitcoin. For real. Don't tempt me.
They not like us. They not like us. They not like us.
Now, if you're stacking fiat currency as a store of value,
they not like us. They not like us. They not like us.
Real talk. Nippinator indicator, always a come in. Let me refresh the chat. I think it's sometimes it needs to be refreshed. There we go. Okay, the First Amendment provides that Congress made no law respecting an establishment or religion or prohibiting and free exercise. It protects freedom of speech, the press, and assembly. Susie, welcome. Hey, JV, off to work, but I've been stacking all week. Love the dip. Dip it up. Take advantage of it while it's here. Before you know it, I'm telling you, fam, you'll be out here in Puerto Rico celebrating with us. 100G Bitcoin. And you're going to be dreaming like, oh my God, I couldn't believe we could have got it at 60,000. Like, wow, 1,600 Satoshis for $1. That was a steal. But that window is going to be short-lived, in my humble opinion, due to the timing of the cycle of where we're at within the epoch of the cycle. You already know we just had the halving, post-halving. Yes, expect more extreme volatility, but the overall trend is going to be to the upside, as it is every post-halving. But it's not instant satisfaction. You got to have the patience. You got to have the sage-like patience. That's a double entendre, pun intended. Different types of sages, right? You got sage the herb, and you got sages as in like spiritual guru or a monk. But anyways, buenas tardes from Colorado Springs. Shout out to the buck stops here. RB, let's freaking go. Shout out to Molly. Always a pleasure seeing you. And once again, appreciate all the retweets on the post over on X. So thank you. And welcome. Most don't know we're in a 5 guaranteed right in the first. 5 guaranteed right in the first. We don't know there are 5 guaranteed. What are you referring to as the 5 there? Is that a blunt? Cuz that's sick. This is sage, just to be clear. But we are going to light it in a bit, but we're going to continue, get a little more of the news done. So let's move on to our technical analysis, a.k.a. astrology for men, yo. The headline reads, Bitcoin halving danger zone. Has 2 days left with the Bitcoin price retesting 60,000. So will we maintain the danger zone? Let me know. Here you're looking at the 1 hour chart. Bitcoin challenge 60 G's. And speaking of 60 G's. 60 G's, baby! You already know. Data from TradingView showed intraday price lows of 60,190 on Bitstamp, and then a sudden drop foiled attempts to hold levels around 63, with explanations mixed as to the impetus behind it. Quoting SKU Analytics, monthly open has been swept again as well. Monthly buyers taken out. If the bulls want higher and want to break this downtrend, it's here, in my opinion. He also says specifically the key area for the bulls to do something is 60,800 to 61,000. Also happens to be the range low, and that's precisely where we're at right now, at around that 61,000 level. So let's do something, bulls. By that dip, you already know Saylor's going to be making an announcement. We just acquired 10 billion more Bitcoins. But yo, JV, I thought there was only could ever be 21 million. But you don't know Michael Saylor. You don't know what he's capable of, dog. I digress. We also have material indicators speculating that some institutional entity may not want to see Bitcoin break out over the weekend. Why is that? Because the markets are closed and they're going to have to pay higher prices when markets open to cover, the need for them to buy it for their clients. So of course, the institutions prefer lower Bitcoin price actions. That's something we got to consider as well. The analyst also says, I won't be the least bit surprised if the seawall moves lower to push the price down. I also won't be surprised if we see a roof pull after the W candle closes on Sunday, referring to the weekly candle close tomorrow. And we also have Rec Capital, who shared some insights as well, quoting him here. Bitcoin indeed downside wicked below the reaccumulation range low, just like in 2016. Thus, price-wise, the post-halving danger zone purple has been satisfied, and you can see the purple here in the chart. He also wrote, time-wise, however, the danger zone officially ends in 2 days. So there you have it. Let me know if you agree or disagree with some of these analysts. Also, breaking news just in, former PayPal president and Lightspark CEO David Marcus says every corporation in the world will end up using Bitcoin Lightning to settle transactions. Very powerful and bold prediction. That would mean taking over all the current payment rails where merchants, what do they charge? 1.9%, maybe 2%, potentially more or less. Well, why wouldn't they want to use Bitcoin Lightning Network where the transaction is the settlement? And using the layer 2, it's going to be instantaneous and virtually free. Like it could be pennies. You know what I mean? So there'd be no comparison. It would save the businesses a fortune in processing fees from all the legacy payment rails, the Visas, the MasterCards, Discover, etc. So I love it. And I would agree. I think Bitcoin's slowly taking over the world here personally. But anyways, let me know your thoughts, fam. And let's continue with some more comments. There should be a bill of responsibilities as well as a bill of rights. Amen to that. Yes, I heard about the second Bill of Rights. Interesting. Shout out to whoever recommended the Bitcoin tracker widget. Right on, Alan Haley. Appreciate you. Welcome, Greg. Chris Klein, what it do? Good to see you. Greg, the Lightning Network is building out at an epic pace. Word up. It will transcend Swift. It will destroy Swift. In fact, when I think of Swift and the legacy banking system, this comes to mind. One moment.
Wop, 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 wop. That fuck 'em up. Wop, 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 wop. I'ma do my stuff.
I hit the like button because I appreciate JV's hard work and dedication, and I do believe Bitcoin will be 100 G's soon. Shout out McLovin. Appreciate that, broski, and thanks for your support each and every day. Bill Hokie, I appreciate you as a member, broski. Biddies rock, amen to that. Shout out to all the members. Kelvin, what's up, party people? Let's get these biddies. Let's get these biddies. You already know we stack the bit skis for the broskis. We love the Droski, but we also love the Sage ski. You know what I mean? Religion, press, speech, assembly, and petition, JV. Those are the rights enumerated in the First Amendment. You asked what... Oh, yes. Thank you for clarifying. Appreciate that. Very important. Hence why the First Amendment is first and means everything. We're talking religion, press, speech, assembly, petition, JV. Good stuff. Throw me a wrench. That's sick. You got to earn that position by being an OG of the channel, showing your loyalty. Those who show up every day over a period of time, eventually it'll be like, you know what I mean, the sensei handing you your black belt. It's time. If you're up for the challenge, of course, because it's also a service position. As the mods do not get paid, they do it because they want to contribute, and that's why I appreciate them so much. What does that say? Jerome and Rieger, welcome. They not like us. Amen to that. Stack Satin Saturday, baby. Amen. Up a little late today, but had to have fun last night. I'm in here, up in here, just in time. That's right. That's what the J and JV stands for. JV blessings, John 3:16. Church is in session, so we shall continue. Here we go. We discussed the TA. Now let's discuss this 100,000 target and some Bitcoin volatility going down in the markets and what's happening right here. Bitcoin's volatility in the annual time frame dropped below that of tech stocks, Tesla, Meta, and Nvidia, signaling its growth towards becoming a more mature and stable asset class. In fact, more stable than many of the S&P 500 stocks. Go figure. So as of May 11th, Bitcoin's 1-year realized volatility, which represents the standard deviation of returns from the mean return of the market, was around 45%. In comparison, the annualized realized volatility of a magnificent 7 stocks, such as Tesla, Meta, and Nvidia, were over 50%. You can see the chart here. You can see Apple, Microsoft, Google, then Amazon, then Bitcoin. The only ones above as far as more volatility would be Meta, Nvidia, and Tesla, but Bitcoin slowly approaching. So Bitcoin has shown relatively lower volatility compared to 33 of the roughly 500 companies of the S&P, and Fidelity Investments noted in its latest report, Bitcoin was actually less volatile than 92 of the S&P stocks in October 2023 when using the 90-day realized historical volatility figures. Some of these names are also large cap and mega cap stocks, and you can see that here. You can see the arrow pointing to where Bitcoin is at in comparison to the rest of the S&P. Now, Bitcoin's annualized volatility is in its nascent years was over 200%, which is a trend typical amongst the newer asset classes, with higher capital inflows as well. This is because these inflows represented a smaller proportion of the total capital base. Consequently, new investments are less likely to significantly influence market prices or the decisions of marginal buyers and sellers, as illustrated in Bitcoin's long-term volatility chart, which you can see here on your screen. This is Bitcoin's realized volatility versus the market cap. In the orange, you can see the Bitcoin market cap. And in the blue is the Bitcoin realized volatility. Now, Bitcoin's recent volatility patterns closely resemble gold in its early trading years. And like gold, Bitcoin undergone a period of price discovery marked initially by high volatility, which gradually subsides as the market matures. Gold prices surged with inflation after its decoupling from the US dollar in 1971 and the legalization of its private ownership in 1974. As a result, the precious metals volatility reached over 80 during the early 1970s, almost twice that of Bitcoin in April of this year. However, as gold became an established asset class with more of a stable price range, its volatility decreased instead of deceased. This similarity suggests that, like gold, Bitcoin is transitioning towards a more stabilized asset class as it becomes better integrated into the broader financial landscape. Now, quoting Fidelity again, Bitcoin was nearly half as volatile in 2024 at 60,000 when compared with 2021. When putting this all together, a thesis pointing towards a growing acceptance of Bitcoin due to potential maturation begins to emerge. Now let's discuss the prospects of Bitcoin doing a major price jump to that six-figure price. Maybe it'll be the ETFs and the FOMO institutionally going on right now that pushes Bitcoin to that six-figure price, which also set off the run that we have witnessed since the start of the year when the ETFs officially went live. I want to know your thoughts on that. Quoting Scott Melker, the massive institutional flood of money that will drive Bitcoin to the all-time highs, referring to the massive institutional money. Melker expects the Bitcoin price to rise to 100 to 150,000 in that range due to the anticipated ETF inflows, which we just discussed. So let me know your thoughts, fam. When can you see six figures occurring within the Bitcoin price action? Holla in the chat. Can all the crypto influencers now take a break? As AD. Months of shilling and speculating ain't moved a ish. You know, a lot of the crypto influencers do it because it's their livelihood. And if that's their full-time gig, let's say, hypothetically, and they're earning, hypothetically, $3,000 a month on YouTube ads, and they need $3,000 a month to pay their bills and eat food and have shelter, no, they're not going to stop podcasting, big dog. It's their job. And just FYI, for those that didn't catch that, it's a career. You know what I mean? What is CAW? Because I am Justin. Think of the White Claw, Colorado is in that chat. That word up, man. I appreciate you. Bitcoin since inception is only up like 470 million% a year. Exactly. Crow with knife. Thank you for the breakdown there, Jennifer, because I had no clue it. I'm like, Baka! I thought you were making like a crow sound or something. But I should know better. When I recognize a word that I don't really know what you guys are saying, I just always should assume it's some altcoin. Pause up. Exactly. 2 pause up. No, 4. Oh, the indicator. Word, yo. That's a pretty big deal right there. Wow. We'll keep an eye on that Nippinator indicator. GBTC recently seen positive inflows. The tide will shift soon. Send it. Last year convinced my mom to buy Bitcoin. Now she's up 112%. Her average price is around 28,000. She said she is selling her Bitcoin. My mom is 78 years young. God bless your mom. I'm wishing her another 100 years strong. NIPS is the big deal. 100% with you on that, Ellen. NIPS is the big deal. And I think it's time to light some sage. What do you guys think? Let me know, yo. Shout out Little Bubble on the track.
Pump, 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 pump it up. Pump, 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 pump it up.
Now, we all know Bitcoin is
Tell
the
him,
best
Michael.
asset.
100%.
You agree?
Agreed.
And there is no second best asset.
Facts. There's nothing to even compare it to. And we discussed that. Now that I just lit the sage, I just remembered our conversation on yesterday's pod that did get demonetized, FYI. And I talked about how Bitcoin is the only asset in the world you can take with you to the afterlife, come back reincarnated. I was pretty deep. And at the moment I just lit and smelt the sage, it connected that memory. Incredible.
And that is why we are here, right? Because we need an asset. Bitcoin is the best. There is no second best.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Michael. So thank you. But anyways, let's keep it moving, shall we? Next story of the day, we're going to be discussing some regulation. The headline reads, Mark Cuban advocates for the CFTC to regulate all crypto ahead of the U.S. election day, which we know is fast approaching us here in the States. Now, the billionaire pushed for the CFTC, which stands for the United States Commodity Futures Trading Commission, to regulate all of cryptocurrency, along with a final plea to the U.S. Congress to offer clarity for the crypto industry before the 2024 election, as we know, again, is about to kick off here in the States. Cuban believes such clarity can help secure another presidential term for Biden. Oh, that's disgusting. Man, I've never liked Cuban, just FYI, just got to throw it out there. But quoting him here, you could solve this problem for Biden by passing legislation that defines registration that is specific to the crypto industry, just as other industries have registration that is defined for them. Now, I guess he doesn't recognize who Biden truly is and the fact he will never be pro-crypto no matter what, because the puppet masters are anti-Bitcoin. And if you guys don't know that, now you know. He further claimed that if Biden isn't reelected for another presidential term, the U.S. SEC chairman, Gensler, known for his tough anti-crypto stance, may be held responsible, as crypto voters will be heard this election. And as you know, just the other day, we had Trump come out and get the entire support from the crypto community by saying, I think crypto is great. Vote Trump if you like crypto. And he said, ultimately, vote Biden if you don't like crypto. I don't know if he said that per se, but nonetheless, that was me paraphrasing. Quoting Cuban, if Joe Biden loses, there's a good chance you'll be able to thank Gensler and the New York SEC. And he also said crypto is a mainstay with younger and independent voters. Gensler has not protected a single investor against fraud. And he kind of makes a point there. I don't think they've protected anyone. They didn't even protect anyone from the largest fraud in human history as far as finance is concerned, and that was Bankman-Fried with FTX. They didn't protect anyone from Terra Luna. Meanwhile, they shook down all the exchanges, including some of the good actors, and ultimately got money out of them. And so Cuban echoed the argument that has been heard by other leaders of the community, namely that Gensler has made it nearly impossible for the legitimate crypto companies to operate within the U.S., obviously, but that's all by design. That's not just coincidence or, oh my God, they just don't know what they're doing. No, don't give them that benefit, fam. In 2023 alone, 46 enforcement actions were taken against crypto firms. Oh my God. So as Ryan shares here, the SEC is now suing Kraken, Coinbase, Uniswap, MetaMask, and Robinhood for the crime of helping regular Americans access crypto. I couldn't agree more. And you got to recognize what these three-letter organizations are really there for. Anything they claim they're there for, it's typically the polar opposite. You know what I mean? But this is an entertainment-based show only. That's just JV's opinion. I mean, what do I know, really? You know what I mean? But anyways, this is what these other people are saying now. Meanwhile, CFTC Chairman Rostin believes there will be another cycle of enforcement actions within the industry in the next 6 to 18 months. Well, of course, there just is ongoing enforcement actions, which seem to never end. But anyways, family, I want to know your thoughts on some of that. Now, are you voting this presidential election? Did Trump steal your heart with his recent speech saying, yo, vote Trump if you're pro-crypto? Are you going to vote independent, RFK? Are you going to vote the B guy, the FJB? Let me know. I loved it, how they were talking about how crypto is used for illegal things. Like that doesn't happen with their fake fiat gold and silver diamonds. I know. They're the biggest hypocrites. They point the finger at Bitcoin or crypto, whatever, and then there's 10,000 fingers pointing right back in their ugly faces. This is the reality. This is the world we live in, yo. It is pretty wild. What up, JB? Watching live from Old San Juan. Shout out, Tony. You made it. Now at CVS, staying out of the rain. Oh, it's raining there. It's not raining here yet, but the sky is cloudy. I probably know the CVS in the Old San Juan that you're at, potentially. I recall being at CVS a few times out there as well. Just saying, the other guy running for prez is much more entrepreneurial. Trump, he would keep the SEC off. Love you, all the Bitcoiners. Amen. Krog, appreciate you tuned in. I'm voting to write in. Word up. The choice for president could not be worse. James Elsey. Here's something I want to remind you guys. You guys, we can have fun watching the presidential elections and the debates. You know, Biden embarrassing himself. Trump with his spectacular vernacular, attacking anyone and everyone, doing what he does best. But at the end of the day, none of these politicians are going to save crypto. I'm sorry. I am sorry. The SEC is going to do what the SEC does. The higher levels up above president, and there's at least 50 that have been identified, are going to do what they do regardless, because the president is more so the mascot for the country, the spokesperson for the country. They don't get to make all the decisions, as we may be led to believe. Now, Nipsey's the mascot of the show. And same concept. He's our spokesperson. Though he don't talk, that's why he's the perfect spokesperson for a podcast, because I get to be employed, and I appreciate him for that. But all jokes aside, regardless who is in power, they're going to continue to attack crypto. I want to know if you understand that. Because if you're ignorant to that fact and you blindly believe that the Matrix is going to save you, you're in for a rude awakening. I mean, yo, let's get JV a real lighter, please. I mean, these lighters are not doing the job. Clearly. But the prez chooses the SEC director. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Who's to say that they do? My point is, the SEC has a clear agenda to destroy crypto and prevent it from growing. Regardless of who's in that position as the chairman of the SEC, the overall agenda is going to be the same, because they work for the corrupt organization. The corrupt organization is probably controlled by a group of very old white people that feel threatened by Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, right? We're talking about the super elites that control these organizations that make all the rules. There's at least 50 levels above the president. At least. Do you understand? So if you think, oh, if we all vote Trump, and I'm not saying don't vote Trump, vote for whoever you want to vote for. I'm just saying, if you're thinking, oh, if Trump becomes president, he's going to embrace Bitcoin, and the SEC is going to stop attacking every exchange and shaking them down, stifling innovation, and wanting every cryptocurrency to be under their jurisdiction as an unregistered security. Well, then you're in for a rude awakening, because bankers control the world, and Bitcoin cripples the bankers, and that's the bigger picture. But anyways, we're on YouTube, so I can't get too political. So I'll digress. But hopefully you see my point. Do votes count anymore? No, not last election. They didn't at all. Everyone on the planet could have voted for one president, and if they decided we rigged the game, in which they did, the other president becomes president. But anyways, both presidents are anointed by the people controlling, I'll just call them the puppet masters. So it's really irrelevant. They have certain agendas planned, and it don't matter if this president who represents the blue people or this president that represents the red people win. The same agenda is going to occur either or. You know what I mean? It don't matter. But I digress. We're on the tube. But shout out to the Rumble fam. We will have a Rumble after party with uncensored content today after the YouTube stream ends. So shout out to Rumble. We're going to continue with the stream. But anyways, family, Pump the likes, pump the stream, especially if you enjoy today's content. Let's dive into the latest hypocrite. That's the bank JPMorgan Chase. I say hypocrite because their CEO Jamie Dimon loves bashing Bitcoin and going on spokes tours on news, different shows talking about how Bitcoin is like the Antichrist. But we just discovered JPMorgan holds shares of several spot Bitcoin ETFs. So yes, they're hypocrites. And they are the largest bank in the States, just FYI. They have ETF shares held with Grayscale, ProShares, Bitwise, BlackRock, and Fidelity. We know BlackRock, the largest one in the world. In a May 10th filing with the US SEC, Chase reported it held roughly $760,000 worth of shares of ProShares, BlackRock, which is their product iBit, as well as Fidelity's Wise Origin Bitcoin Fund, also GBTC and the Bitwise Bitcoin ETF. So they're pretty, spread out. They have shares in them all. And in addition, the bank reported 25,000 shares worth roughly 47,000 in Bitcoin Depot. Interesting. A crypto ATM provider. The SEC filing came the same day as Wells Fargo reported exposure to Grayscale and ProShares for their ETFs and its holdings and Bitcoin Depot. And also, as I shared recently, Susquehanna International Group also reported May 7th it purchased more than $1 billion worth of shares of crypto spot ETFs in the first quarter of 2024. JPMorgan Chase, the largest bank in the States with assets, controls $2.6 trillion. The SEC added that observers should not assume that the info provided by the financial firm was accurate and complete. Yeah, my disclosure, I would say, based upon how many times they got to pay billion-dollar fines and multi-hundred million-dollar fines for breaking the law, I'd say anything provided by JPMorgan Chase is probably not accurate or complete, in my opinion. But anyways, the SEC approved the listing of the ETFs. We know that was back on January 11th. Many experts expect the commission to decide on the spot Ether ETFs by May 23rd, in a couple of weeks, with an application from asset manager Van Eck reaching its final deadline. So there you have it. Now, do you think Gensler will likely approve an Ethereum ETF, or do you agree with Mike Saylor, which we'll dive into later on the show? He says the only ETF that will ever get approved by the SEC is Bitcoin. Let me know your thoughts, crypto fam, and I'll read some more of your comments. Cheers. Welcome everyone joining the stream. Please make that stick a wrench. It's KJam. Oh, you're incognito? How can we verify that, KJam? Who are these alternate egos? I must have cloned them. Abolish the Fed. Hey, let's start by auditing the Fed, and then we'll get all the knowledge we need to prove they need to be abolished. So audit, then abolish. Or we can just get straight to the point and abolish them. You know what I mean? Why not? Brock gets what it wants. What are you referring to as Brock? Regardless who you vote for, I love America. UNCNA, Bitcoin hodlers. Amen to that, Molly. I love the American people. I just don't feel so passionate about my leaders, so-called leaders, that are anointed, in my opinion. And Bitcoin is completely decentralized. There are no CXOs. Every other ishcoin is. This just in, Brittany, Justin. A little M&M bars for you. Don't think ETH will get an ETF. And recently, Gensler the Worm was just on TV, and they asked him about crypto, and he dodged the fact. He didn't even want to talk about crypto. He's like, we're in control of a 1 point however many trillion market. Why do you want to discuss crypto? It's like, because Gary, you got explaining to do. We want to know. You know what I mean? What's considered a commodity, or what's considered an unregistered security? Can you tell us how you view Ethereum? Let's change the topic. Let's talk about my mother. Mother's Day is coming up, and Broski's Mother's Day is tomorrow. Just FYI. Hit the like button, fellas. It costs $0. Amen. Amen to that. He got angry for the question. I know. We covered the story. It said, crypto question irks Gary Gensler, chairman of the SEC. That was like the headline, yo. It was crazy. I saw that interview with Gary. Hilarious, right, Don? 107T. Oh, thank you, Chris. 107 trillion. Gary the Worm. He doesn't know how to talk about, what does that say, real money? Precisely. Amen to that, JB. Cheers, Molly. Gary is his own meme. Precisely, just like Peter Shifty.
They not like us. They not like us. They not like us.
You know what I mean? The funny thing is, after the approval of the interest in ETH will be as low as it is compared with Solana, says Steven. Yeah. Did you know Gary was mentored at MIT by Glenn Ellison, Caroline's dad? Coincidence? I don't believe in coincidences. Thank you, Greg. Could be in position, is shifting, and can't articulate it yet, says Ellen. Do you like living in Puerto Rico? Asked Crypto 420. Yes, it's very 420 friendly. Crypto 420, meaning come out here, bro. No, I truly do. I've traveled, I'm guesstimating, to 40 countries in my lifetime. I've lived in different countries around the world, including the other side of the world in China. I've spent years in Costa Rica. I lived in Medellin. I spent a lot of time in Thailand. I lived in Medellin, Colombia. You know what I mean? I've lived in New York. I've lived in Florida. I've lived in California. And I truly do enjoy Puerto Rico. And there's a reason I am here. And it's not just because the obvious reasons why many entrepreneurs travel here or relocate here, but it's genuinely a beautiful place, beautiful people. I respect the culture. Yeah, lifestyle is good. So I think it's good for the fam as well. ETH long, 15-minute chart. Oh, word. JV is bullish for Bitcoin when there's prominent people in the media footing it, like reverse psychology. Exactamundo. JV lived in Japan for 11 months. Are you saying you lived in Japan for 11 months, bro? That's amazing. I've never been to Japan. I spent 13 months in China. Japan's on my list, my mental list, that is. I don't have a physical list, but as one of the countries I'd love to visit and eat some of that mochi, that green tea, ice cream, dessert, which is like my favorite. When I went to a Japanese restaurant, it was like the best. Hey, all watching from Cancun. Shout out G Biddy. I like the username, yo. You're fearless, JV. I would consider myself fearless to an extent, unless it's my fear. Like, if a tarantula drops on my head during the stream, I may scream. Nah, I probably wouldn't scream, but I would probably, like, freak out and throw my hat or hit the hat off my head. Same thing with a snake. I don't like snakes. Not a big fan of spiders. I don't know how some people just love spiders, love snakes. We built different. I don't think I'd want to, hey, let me hold this anaconda in my hands that can wrap around me and squeeze me to death and then swallow me and poop me out. No, thank you. JV, good. But at the same time, I've been in a cage with a tiger. Granted that they're tame tigers, but I have done stuff like that. I did that actually in Thailand. I actually have a picture holding the tiger's tail, which is pretty crazy now that I think about it. I also have a picture from in Thailand of an elephant's trunk holding me up from under my balls, for lack of a better term to present. It was kind of cool, though. Memories, yo. Spent a tour in Vietnam and years in Korea. How was it, Bill? G Biddy, that sounds like a Bitcoin rap. I know exactly. G Biddy should be a Bitcoin rapper name. If it's not, I'm going to assume he's a rapper. I like snakes. They're fun to have as pets. Exactly. So some people like different types of things and they're, amused by them, or they just think they're super cool. And I understand and respect it. I just know I don't know. We mentioned fears, and the first thing that comes to my mind is like spiders and snakes. Tame until they get really hungry. I know. So if the tigers aren't well fed, they're not going to be tame. Precisely. So I'm sure these tigers were very well fed. I mean, one day JV would be playing my Bitcoin raps. Amen to that. In fact, send them over to me. I'd love to hear it. And if I become a fanboy, I will absolutely play them. Lots of spiders. But if I don't like them, don't be offended. If you don't hear them on the stream, it don't mean I don't respect them. But I'm also very picky. Just FYI. So come with your best ish. Hit me with your best track. Don't hit me with no BS. You get one shot. You get one chance. Anyways. All right, yo. Let's dive into our next story of the day, shall we? Pump the likes to pump the stream. Stacking Saturday. Let's go. So yeah, here's the $1 million prediction from Jack Dorsey. He says Bitcoin will skyrocket to at least the milli by 2030. Let's break it down. Billionaire and tech entrepreneur Jack Dorsey expects big things for Bitcoin in the next 6 years. In a new interview with Pirate Wires, the Twitter co-founder predicts that Bitcoin will skyrocket to at least 1 million by the top of the decade. Quoting him here, I do think it hits that number and goes beyond, but I think the price is only interesting. The most amazing thing about Bitcoin, apart from the founding story, is anyone who works on it or gets paid in it or buys it for themselves. Everyone who puts any effort in it to make it better is making the entire ecosystem better, which makes price go up. It is a fascinating ecosystem and movement. More than anything else, it taught me a lot. Now, earlier in the month, Dorsey's fintech conglomerate, Block, announced it is investing 10% of its gross profit from Bitcoin products directly into Bitcoin itself. And at the end of March, and before the new Bitcoin purchase program was initiated, Block had already 8,038 BTC on its balance sheet. According to a document shared by the firm, the Bitcoin trove represented approximately 9% of the company's total cash equivalents, and marketable securities. So there you have it. I believe it's a given. I can totally see $1 million per Bitcoin by the year 2030. But what are your thoughts? Also, as we broke down deeper in yesterday's episode, because that was one of the topics, I think it was the main story of the day, I also discussed how Cathie Wood upped her price prediction by the year 2030 as well to 3.8 million per coin. That's based off a 5% allocation from the institutions. Meaning if the major institutions all invested 5% of their assets into Bitcoin, she foresees Bitcoin hitting 3.8 million. But I want to know your thoughts, fam. Let me know in the chat. Maybe I'm crazy bullish, a Bitcoiner, but sincerely believe 1 million Bitcoin by 2030 is very plausible. I agree. I've been calling for 1 million by the year 2029. So agree. Thank you for your streaming. We know that Warren Buffett is against crypto, but if he changed his opinion and invests in crypto, do you think this would move Bitcoin up? Yeah, just because so many, just like everyone idolizes Elon in our society, everyone idolizes Warren Buffett in the investor space because he is one of the wealthier people on the planet. So naturally, his influence is a lot. A lot of people, maybe we don't like him in our space, but outside of crypto, which is a very nascent, small sector compared to the giant conglomerate space of finance and total addressable market, which is probably more than $900 trillion. So Bitcoin is just minuscule. So outside of this crypto space, people really look up to people like Warren Buffett, and people actually looked up to people like Charlie Munger. So absolutely, influence is a big thing. When you have the most influential people of a space, and in financial space, purchasing Bitcoin, whether it's directly or indirectly and getting exposure to it, just like we now see Wells Fargo, JPMorgan, the people who were bashing it. Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock a few years ago, said Bitcoin is used for illicit activities. Like, that's its primary purpose. He would bash it. Now they're coming around 180. And of course, look at the impact that has had, with the ETF flows and the institutional FOMO going on right now. So yeah, I think there's an impact. I am bullish on Cathie Wood's bathwater. McLovin, did you have to start this conversation, bro? Give me the Cathier. Oh my God. 2029 is the year after the halving. It's 2028. Precisely. The next epoch coming up is going to be 2028 halving, which will be a cycle, if history rhymes, till 2032, unless the cycles change. Let me know your thoughts on that as well. 225,000 end of the year, 500,000 to 750,000 cycle peak. What will the 1 mil party look like? That's a great question. Who knows? Sky's the limit, big dog. After the 1 million, the next step will be a trillion due to the exponential nature of inflation. Amen. We're going to call that, after hyperinflation, we will witness, that will give birth to hyper Bitcoinization. It's going to get wild. It's going to get wild. You know what I mean? But anyways, fam, keep the comments coming. But let's head into our feature story that most of you guys clicked this episode for, especially. So yeah. Now for our featured story of the day, Mike Saylor. He says Bitcoin is the only crypto asset that will get the SEC approval for the ETFs. I'm also going to be sharing his latest thoughts and price actions. He believes Bitcoin can do 425x, sending Bitcoin to a mere $10 million per coin. I also want to get his insights on the Bitcoin halving. So let's dive right in, shall we? And welcome those just joining the stream. Happy Sat Stack and Saturday. Let's start with this tweet. I transcribed, and this is actually pinned on my X account right now because I can really appreciate the insights Saylor dropped here. I know we got close to 50,000 views on it. That's what's up. But anyways, quoting Mike Saylor, at the end of the day, you can tell everybody to go F themselves. You can put it in your head, memorize the freaking key. Oh yeah, my Bitcoin, I lost it on a boating accident. Tax that. That's the most gangster quote I have ever heard in my life, hence why it's pinned on my X account. If you're on X, be sure to retweet it or repost it. I appreciate it. Now, here's another bullish prediction he made, which I transcribed from a video. And I want to read this to you, and then I'm going to be sharing his latest insights and brand new article more recently published regarding that he believes the SEC is only ever going to approve the Bitcoin ETF and that ETH will not get that green light. So anyways, he says, because Bitcoin is just pure money, it's just as effective at 100,000 a coin as 10,000 a coin, and at a million a coin, it's just as effective, and at 10 million a coin, is probably more compelling at 10 million a coin than 1 million or 100,000 a coin. Now, it's kind of universally scalable asset that gets less risky. The only thing that's going to change my opinion is when it was super risky and scary below 10,000, you were getting 100 to 200% a year annualized gains. And then it got a bit more understandable. Between 10,000 and 100,000, your gains go to 40 or 50% per year. And then at some point, they go to 30 and then 20. And in the extreme, if everybody in the world understood Bitcoin, it would be 20, 30, 40% of the wealth of the world. Check it, yo. So it would be $200 to $300 trillion in today's dollars. Let that sink in, bro. Because right now, the crypto market cap is less than $3 trillion. So you run the math. And when the price would be appreciating at that rate of global inflation in the fiat currency, referring to the US dollar, so if the gold inflation rate remains a 7, it would still remain a 7, and then it would appreciate a little bit more because the productivity of the people that adopt it as a treasury reserve asset. So long live the Giga Chad. Let me know your thoughts on that. Now, he also recently spoke regarding Ethereum not getting the same kind of spot ETF approval from the SEC. So I want to break this one down for you as well.
Which one's the best crypto asset? Well, Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Okay. What's the second best? There is no second best.
So here we go. Saylor said in the earnings call yesterday that Bitcoin is the one crypto asset that a publicly traded company can hold on its balance sheet and can capitalize upon. It is the one crypto asset that Wall Street firms are going to be able to sell on a spot ETF basis. The entire modern institutional asset economy, the options market, the securities market, the money manager system, the institutional mutual funds, the institutional ETFs, they're all going to be centered around Bitcoin as the digital property going forward.
I'm not saying I'm number one. I'm sorry, I lied. I'm number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Now, we all know MicroStrategy was the first publicly traded company to put the Bitcoin on the balance sheet. And since then, it set the blueprint, it set the precedent for other major companies to do the same, which actually happened like a domino effect, which is a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? For example, we even had a country, El Salvador, adopt Bitcoin as legal tender. We even had Tesla. We had, I guess he's connected with Elon, obviously, was his other company, SpaceX. Now you have other companies in other countries like Japan, etc., putting Bitcoin on the balance sheet. You got to remember, there's a lot of very wealthy companies. Think of I hate Microsoft because I hate its founder, but nonetheless, think of companies like Microsoft, Apple, retailers like Walmart, online biggest marketplace in the world, Amazon. What if they were to adopt Bitcoin? They're sitting on all this excess cash at the end of the day, and they need to park it somewhere so that don't disappear like a melting ice cube, as Saylor once eloquently described keeping fiat in the bank. And we already know how he feels in regards to those who treat fiat as a store of value. May I remind you? Take it away, Saylor.
But like most of the people who are buying assets at some point want to sell the assets at a profit.
Is that true? Do you buy Bitcoin to specifically sell it at a profit, as that news interview lady shared to Michael Saylor? Let me know. Was your intention of buying Bitcoin to sell it at a profit? I'm just curious, and there's nothing wrong with doing that. Nothing wrong at all. I'm just curious, you guys specifically in the chat, let me know.
People that use fiat
lovers.
currency as a store of value.
What do we call them? Let me know in the chat, family. Don't be shy. Don't be a stranger. This is a live and interactive show for a reason. I'm lighting the stage to step up the stream to the next level. If you're ready to take this up a couple of notches, let me know, broskies.
We call them poor. We call them poor. People.
And let me know regarding some of his predictions. And can you see a $300 trillion market cap in crypto, considering I think the all-time high was in the 3 trillion range. So he's ultimately saying we can do 100x what we've already achieved as the all-time high. Now, what if Bitcoin were to 100x from here? Then you're looking at that $6 million Bitcoin price. What if the dollar was to hyperinflate? Then you can start thinking about, whoa, Bitcoin can literally hit 100 million or 10x 100 million, hit $1 billion. Then Jurrien Timmer had a macro over at one of the larger asset management firms, Fidelity, $4.5 trillion asset manager. He predicted Bitcoin hitting $1 billion by 2038. How can that be? Well, that's if the dollar hyperinflated. That's if hyper-Bitcoinization is birthed due to the inflation or hyperinflation of the dollar. If the dollar literally collapsed, what do you think that's going to do? How do you think that's going to impact the Bitcoin price? Bitcoin is ultimately the opposite of the dollar. Bitcoin will do the opposite of what the dollar does. The dollar has a unalive sentence. It's destiny. Just as all fiat currency that come before it, it all returns to its original intrinsic value. Fact, right? Which is zero, because at the end of the day, it's a Ponzi. We all know that. So what's going to happen to Bitcoin when the dollar literally goes to zero? Oh my God, how can you even compare it to the US dollar? It would have no relevance. The dollar becomes the BitConnect coin, goes to zero, right? So who knows? Maybe at that point, they can only compare Bitcoin to a more stable asset. Maybe gold. Who knows? Let me know your thoughts, yo. But yes, many countries' currency has hyperinflated already. I look at the US dollar as the big boss. You know what I mean? And eventually, all that fiat is going to go to zero against the apex predator. Only a matter of time. You know what I mean? So again, purchasing power is mathematically guaranteed to increase in Bitcoin, and your purchasing power in the dollar is mathematically guaranteed to decrease in fiat monopoly money. So that's all you need to know. You'll be able to have freedom with the more Bitcoin you have. And if you're treating fiat currency as a store of value,
that use fiat currency,
we know what we call them. Come on now.
we call them poor. We call them poor.
Sila says, yes, Bitcoin is for decades. Altcoins are for the profits. I'll spend my cash and hold my Bitcoin, says Ellen. Guys, how long till the exchanges run out of the Bitcoin? I think it'll happen within the year, within the next 12 months. I think the window, like realistically, between 6 to 12 months. It could take as much as 18 months, anywhere from 6 to 18 months. So the average, if I had to guess, I'd say 12 months from now. This time next year, there may be no Bitcoin available on the exchanges. They say there's roughly 1.8 million. And I base this prediction off the top analytical firms in the world and, data. It's not just me making it up. Like Crypto Quant, we have covered many times talking about the supply shock running out of the Bitcoin on the exchanges. Numbers must go up. You guys already know. French philosopher Voltaire, circa 1720, all fiat eventually returns to its intrinsic value. Thank you, Greg. And I appreciate you with the quote all the time because that's how I just memorized it today from reading your comment every day. I didn't say I would say I can judge biblical entertainment. You can cash is king for the car. I can buy one or more Bitcoin because I have dealers that take Bitcoin around me. Nice. Yes, even some of the top car dealerships, including Ferrari, accept Bitcoin. Use fiat to pay the taxes? Yeah. Don't get me wrong. There's use cases for fiat. When I closed out my bank in Florida, because specifically didn't want to support the bank and I didn't want money in the bank, I took the fiat out and then I donated it to a charity here in Puerto Rico. I mean, fiat does have use cases. You could definitely help someone in need. You can even buy some Bitcoin with it. So don't get it twisted. But we all know that your purchasing power is doomed. So dollars are not for saving. Putting money in the bank to save is a very bad idea. Obviously, we put money in the bank, most of us, to pay the bills, just convenience. And I would say only keep in the bank what you can afford to lose, because we may wake up one day and your dollar becomes effectively worthless when it comes to purchasing power. That day will happen in our lifetime, in my humble opinion. And it could happen within the next few years. It could happen within the next epoch of this presidential election. A lot of ish may hit the fan. We don't know what's going to happen. But one thing's for sure. Continued chaos, economic and financial terrorists will continue to do what they do best. And Bitcoin will continue to do what it does best, which is numbers go up, giving human beings perfect money, the ability to save something that will enhance their prosperity and enhance their overall freedom and sovereignty in life. Fiat, on the other hand, if you just continue to work for fiat and you don't put any of that fiat away to buy the Bitcoin and position yourself to be a holder of Bitcoin, it's going to be very rough because they're going to have you buy the BALLS. Why is that? Because there's something called CBDCs, and because we're on YouTube, I can't get deep into it, but their intentions are not pure. Their intentions are not to help you. Their intentions are to financially cripple and control you. And if you think otherwise, I don't know what planet you think you're living on, but that's just the way of the world. Confucius says, buy, stack, and chill. Be the Bitcoin and no worries. Amen to that. Light some sage. Stack some biddies. Grab yourself a brewski, whether it's kombucha or whatever you enjoy, and do what you do best. You know what I mean? CBD vapes only, Bitcoin fam. Exactly. CBD is excellent. Highly recommended. Highly recommended. CBDC, I wouldn't touch it with a 10 million foot pole because it's evil. And I try to stay far away from Satan, if you know what I mean. Now for some art. ETH is at 39.50. We're going to hit 4Gs, baby. They want us to to get into the pens. What? Of course, you would have fiat outside the crypto sphere. At some point, though, you won't have. Yeah, at some point, you just won't desire to hold it. because everything will be integrated with Bitcoin, just as David Marcus, I covered the story earlier. He says, let me reread that headline or that quote to you. He says, this is the former PayPal president, David Marcus. Every corporation in the world will end up using Bitcoin Lightning to settle transactions. That's powerful. Become water, my friend. Cojones. Precisely, Ellen. You look like you're smoking a hella blunt, JB. Does it look like that? Is what it is. Enjoying the brewski with the sage ski. Or the herb ski. Herb ski is a better term because then the new viewers watching assume something else. Cosmicom, welcome family. I got myself a blue moon. Enjoy barbecuing and listening to you, JV. Happy Sat Stacking Saturday. Enjoy the barbecue and shout out to the wifey. ICP has been integrated with Bitcoin for ages, says Adam. 60 G's, baby. Amen to that.
60 G's, baby!
Well.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's the 10 Sats Commandments.
What you know about the 10 Sats Commandments? Let me know. Anyone recommend a good Bitcoin-friendly Roth IRA? I'm going to roll a 401k over to get more Bitcoin exposure. Ask G Biddy. And yo, G Biddy, just for the record, truly, are you an MC? And I think you already said yes earlier. If so, send me your best track or favorite 2 tracks. I would love to hear it. Send it to me on X. Just send me a private message. I am infidelity, says Ellen Todd. So you have a Roth IRA infidelity, Ellen? Or are you referring to the ETF? That's a great plan, says McLovin. Beautiful weekend, bro. Enjoy it. Lots of Bitcoin ETF on the way to come up for the Bitcoin and Ethereum. In the August UK to Europe will plan to launch the ETF in the process. Best part will come up once crypto-friendly President Trump. I Trust Capital. There you go. They were a previous sponsor of the show. I got love for I Trust. They're the largest one in the world. Simply Bitcoin. There's another option from that sick. Thank you, JV. Happy Mother's Day to you and your mom. Thanks for the reminder, Serge, and thank you. Shout out to all the moms out there living their best lives and doing everything they can do for their family. We respect and appreciate all the beautiful ladies here on Gaia, who is also a mother. So also, happy Mother's Day to planet Earth. I'm your badass from Russia. Nice. Shout out Peter, a.k.a. Mr. Badass from Russia. Where do you see this bull cycle? See Bitcoin? I see it peaking out this cycle next year, 2025, somewhere between a range of 222,000 to 775,000. So if I had to average that, I'm expecting, on average, $500,000 Bitcoin. Am I optimistic? Yes. Is there any guarantee? No. Just for the record. But hey, a $222,000 high, I think would make us all smile at the end of the day, even if, just hypothetically speaking, we only hit the low. And that's a big if, because again, I think it could be as high as 750,000. But I also must say, not financial advice. I am not a financial expert. I'm not a investment expert. I have no expertise except sometimes sparking the sage. So any investments you make, you're on your own. Just FYI, this is for entertainment purposes only. Please make that sick a wrench. It is K-Jam in disguise. Thank you, Jennifer. We can make that happen. Let's see if I can do that. K-Jam. K-Jam the fam. I don't have that option on my software. I don't have YouTube pulled up at the moment, so I'll do it later. We'll make it happen. My daughter painted me a bouquet of flowers. The painting lasts longer than the real thing. Amen. Shout out to Amari, my daughter, JB. Shout out, Amari. Thanks for hooking your mom up with something she'll treasure for the rest of her life. Respect. Most definitely to all the mothers, and most definitely all the mothers and Crypto News Alerts. Have a wonderful day. Amen to all that. We appreciate all the ladies who support the show, because we know, I would say, crypto is definitely dominantly men. And even our channel, back a year ago, last I looked at the analytics, it was maybe 8% women and 92% men. I like to believe it may now be more than 10% women, because we have a lot more of the beautiful women here tuning in. As you know, even our mods, we got a lot of women now in our mods, so thank you. Shout out Molly, Jennifer, and the fam. With one president, 150,000, another 580. That might be the case. That might be the case. She's on a plane now, JV. That's what's up. Who you referring to, that sick? The wifey. Oh, okay. Right on. Vacay. What's going on, fellow hodlers? Welcome, Lock Sky, to the stream. Lock Sky had a dream. Good to see you, yo. Welcome, welcome. Shout out Nippinator. We're still awaiting the indicator. Got a paw in the air. And it goes down, up, down. Make them say roof, roof, roof. Respect to thy mother, starting with Gaia. Right? Happy Mother's Day, ladies. This is your time. Enjoy yourself this weekend. You deserve everything you desire. Without ladies, none of us would be here. Facts. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to move to the uncensored version of the pod, just so we can talk about other things besides boring crypto. So head on over to Rumble. For those of you new to the stream, this live stream I do every day is live on YouTube and Rumble at the same time. But we end the YouTube stream and we continue on Rumble for the uncensored version of the pod, which is exclusive on Rumble. Rumble's a free video platform, very similar to YouTube, just newer, right? So head on over to Rumble. I'm sure a link will be dropped in the chat by KJam any moment. And click that link and let's continue with the uncensored version of the pod. I greatly appreciate and respect you all. Happy Mother's Day. Enjoy your weekends and get something fantastic and beautiful for your lovely mothers. And I will see you over on Rumble. Deuces, fam. YouTube stream.